Around the world, people eat the oddest things. The French adore their sautéed snails, while the Scots savor a good sheep's head. And crickets are a tasty treat in Africa. Weird? It's all a matter of taste. So on your next vacation, be daring and sample some of the unusual culinary delights the world has to offer. Instead of ordering the same old beef, try roasted rat. Muskrat, to be precise.
For all you do, this rat's for you.
Can't stomach rat meat? Then try an Australian specialty, a thick, juicy cut of camel meat. Or grab a brewski and chow down on an American specialty from the Wild West, cowboy caviar or bull testicles. Still feeling peckish? Try a Philippine favorite, balut or duck fetus. Or how about a succulent worm-covered apple? Delicious.
Looks like worms, taste like chicken.
We've crisscrossed the globe to uncover the world's most unusual recipes. From America's Wild West to Australia's Outback, we put our taste buds to the test so we could bring you the oddest eats on Earth. All coming up next on World's Freakiest Foods. Gentle morning fog gives way to brilliant sunshine. That's life as usual in Pismo Beach, the classic California beach town midway between Los Angeles and San Francisco. After a day by the water, locals and visitors stroll along Pismo's laid-back Main Street, teeming with shops and restaurants. And there's one shop in particular that makes everyone feel like a kid in a candy store. It's rows and rows of enormous kaleidoscopic lollipops, cotton candy and taffy, licorice sticks and swizzle sticks, strawberries covered in chocolate, and candied apples sprinkled with nuts and worms. Yes, you heard right. Larry Peterman's Hot Licks is a sweet tooth fantasy come to life, with a twist. There are worms in tequila-flavored lollipops, scorpions in amber-colored toffee, flavored roaches, even chocolate-covered crickets.
The candy store has the usual amount of taffy, cotton candy, the regular things you'd find in a candy store, in addition to the real good stuff.
The real good and gross stuff gets cooked up in a back room that's less Willy Wonka's chocolate factory than a little shop of horrors.
These are some of the fine ingredients that we use in our products. Crickets, they're quite mildly right now, but when we chocolate coat them, you'll see that they are a little calmer. We're covering our chocolate-covered crickets. Here goes the crickets into the specially prepared chocolate. They'll come out the other end to perfection. Swim, little guy. The roaches, the wings aren't all that good. Most of the other part here is better.
You can also get worms and scorpions for a sugar-coated variety pack of pests.
This little stinger here, you have to tell people to break that off, but the poison's dead now because the scorpion's dead.
For those who like to start their day with a nutritious cereal, how about some toasted grubs?
They're kind of like Rice Krispies because they do a little pop, 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 pop. Then if you sprinkle little ants on there, this is what really gives you the burst of flavor. Things we do with these mealworms is make a larvette, cheese flavored, Mexican spice flavored. A lot of people like to have these raw. They're much more nutritional when they're raw. And they're quite flavorful too. Sometimes they get around.
The company's biggest seller is the tequila sucker with worm.
And we were trying to think of different flavors of things to do and different suckers to make. And one of the suckers, say rum. They have rum-flavored butter rum candies and stuff. Rum, and it says tequila. Oh, mezcal, and you put the worm in the mezcal. Let's make a sucker with the worm in it. And Newsweek picked it up and we took off from there.
That was 10 years ago. And while Larry does a brisk business today selling vermin candy to museums and theme parks, you can still find him on the streets of Pismo peddling his wares to the uninitiated.
Ladies, apples with worms?
Oh, thank you. Are they real worms?
Of course.
Yeah, they are the worms.
They're not maggots, they're real worms. Would you like to try some worms, ma'am? Free worm? Some days you just can't give them away.
Oh, swear to God, is that one moving? I think it moved. Okay, I've had enough.
Scoff if you will, but bugs are tasty, cheap, and a good source of protein. In fact, the Entomological Society of America claims insects like termites, grasshoppers, caterpillars, houseflies, and spiders are a better source of protein than beef, poultry, or pork. They even say they're low in cholesterol and low in fat.
We here in the Western culture are one of the few cultures that don't eat bugs. Most of the other people in the world do eat insects, and it's part of their regular diet.
For example, in Mexico, you can pick up grasshoppers and crickets by the pound in village markets.
You want to break off the legs before you eat them, though, because they get stuck in your teeth.
Surprisingly, most first-time bug eaters are amazed at how much they like them.
It's kind of crunchy. Tasted a little fried. It was kind of salty. It was good.
Very earthy. Looks like worms, taste like chicken.
A little salty combined with a little sweet. Very tasty. I suggest that everyone try them.
While Larry cultivates most of his own insects, you can purchase yours from pet stores or bait shops. But before you slip that cricket on the Barbie, Larry cautions that cooking bugs is not a snap.
Sometimes they come out too mushy. Sometimes they, just too crunchy. Sometimes they explode in the microwave, depending on what they were.
Once you develop your bug cooking skills, you'll find that flies in the ointment can be a very tasty treat. Crickets have a crunchy, tangy flavor. Ants have a peppery taste and can be used to accent a salad. In fact, most Americans unwittingly eat a pound or two of bugs each year. You can't see them because they're ground up in foods like strawberry jam, peanut butter, spaghetti sauce, even frozen chopped broccoli. You can even change the taste of your insects through gut loading. That means if you like oranges, feed your bugs lots of oranges, and that's what they'll taste like. While bottom feeders like lobster eat whatever foul rot they can find, most bugs dine on fresh fruit, grass, and plants. But if you're not itching to become the Julia Child of bug cuisine, ease into your arthropod diet with the sweets at Hot Licks, where Larry Peterman is sure to be cooking up yet another delicious creepy crawler.
This looks like a nice one. He's well proportioned, has a nice body to it, well fed. We like well fed cockroaches. Oh, if my mom can see me now.
At Hot Licks, grossed out or gorging on icky treats, everybody acts like a kid in a candy store.
Is it? You like it?
Coming up, you won't believe what's on the menu at this fast food restaurant. It'll really freak you out. Later, grab a beer and have a ball. Or two at Montana's Testicle Festival, where Rocky Mountain oysters are the main course.
Come to the Testy Festival Ball!
Plus, try the Philippines' favorite roadside snack, if you can stomach it. All coming up when World's Freakiest Foods returns. We're back with more of World's Freakiest Foods. Many countries around the world eat exotic food that Americans would never dream of putting on a menu, like guinea pigs in Ecuador, goat's heads in Africa, or goosefoot in China. But in the U.S., just outside Detroit, Michigan, the top seller is a longtime regional rodent.
I think I'm gonna go for the muskrat. Haven't had that in a while.
You heard right, rat. Muskrat to be precise. For the past 21 years, Chef Johnny Kolakowski has been cooking up muskrat for the people of Detroit's downriver area. So much rat that he's known all around Michigan as the Muskrat King.
For all you do, this rat's for you.
He started cooking the aquatic critters from his catering business at a local bowling alley. And people were so bowled over by his rat recipe that he opened Cola's Food Factory in Riverview, Michigan in 1996.
I have to deal with 4,000 to 5,000 muskrats a year to take care of all the people that come here. A muskrat meal here is $9.95, and it's a whole muskrat sauteed over a bed of sauerkraut with mashed potatoes and gravy, and it's a wonderful meal. It comes with super salad, just like a steak.
The marshlands of the Detroit River are the perfect habitat for the rats. The furry muskrat lives in clean, fresh water and eats only the roots of aquatic plants. These vegetarian rodents are a longtime favorite of many downriver residents.
I've been eating muskrat since I was a kid. As a matter of fact, my grandmother used to make it every year at Christmas Eve.
Trappers and stuff in the downriver area have been doing this for hundreds of years.
But who was the first to actually eat it? The locals say when French Canadians migrated to Michigan, fish were so scarce and muskrat so abundant in the winter that they had little choice since they had to eat it and they never stopped. The Catholic Church even allowed the area residents to substitute muskrat for fish in the traditional meatless Friday meals, a tradition that still reverberates today.
Friday is predominantly the day that we sell a lot of muskrats. In the Catholic Church, you have Lent, and that is a big time for muskrat.
But how do you get from this
It's a big fat rat. It's an old rat.
to this?
Yum, yum.
First, you have to clean them.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you a muskrat that has been gutted and skinned. It's a whole carcass that you get. 2 legs or 4 legs, a spine, rib cage. You parboil them up. Then what I do is I saute them in butter and garlic and a little soy sauce. Let's see, which one gets it? Loser. Yay, winner. Oh, yeah.
Since there are no FDA inspection facilities for muskrat meat in the U.S., Johnny gets his rats from trappers right across the border, where the meat is inspected by Canadian authorities.
Okay, John, here's your rat.
I've been buying muskrat for 21 years. I mean, I buy out trappers, and we make deals years in advance. It's like probably rat futures, I guess you would say. Some do cattle, some do onions, I do muskrats. Get the invoice like
Those Canadian inspected muskrats satisfy the FDA enough to let Johnny serve them to the public.
What did he have to say? You never knew if there's any E. coli or salmonella contamination in them, and at one time, about 18 years ago, we had to surrender some muskrats to the FDA, and they examined them, and they came back with a better bill of health than chicken.
But does it taste like chicken?
And I'm not going to say it tastes like chicken because it doesn't. It's gamey, but it's very good.
It's real bony, but it's tasty. You just got to work at it. Just get around all those little bones.
But if you're a person that likes liver and onions, you'll love muskrat.
But not everyone can be convinced.
I don't know if I could bring myself to eat muskrat. It's just the word rat, I think, is what does it. Yeah. Plus, they're really ugly, which shouldn't matter, but.
If you're not up for munching on muskrat, Cola's offers other daring creations that will test your palate's prowess. Like snapping turtle stir-fry, frog's legs, or alligator medallions, and even raccoon.
I do cook a lot of raccoon and all kind of furry little creatures. People are getting bored with having steak the same way, chicken the same way. You gotta try something different, and that's what people are doing. I see it here all the time.
But there is one thing he won't cook.
Skunk. I don't want to clean a skunk.
On the go? Then get your dinners the quick way at Cola's drive-thru window. Just another way for Johnny to spread his muskrat love.
Enjoy your dinner.
So watch out for muskrat mania. Johnny has plans to take colas nationwide. That means muskrat may be coming to a neighborhood near you. Muskrat not your cup of tea? Then chow down on a down-home delicacy from the Wild West. It's roundup time. Time to stampede into the cattle country of Clinton, Montana, where everybody's having a ball. Or two.
Right.
Yes, people from all over the place are feeding on the tastiest treats in the Wild, Wild West.
These are the boys. I'm eating my own kind. These are my boys.
Those boys are actually bull's testicles, ready and waiting for culinary daredevils to take a bite. And that's because here at the Rock Creek Lodge, they're holding the annual 5-day Testicle Festival, a fun-loving party where everybody dines on reproductive glands.
Balls, and here's your chicken.
Some consider this event a special way of celebrating the West's long love affair with the unique delicacy, the Rocky Mountain oyster.
One thing we say here at Tasty Fest is have a ball.
Back in 1982, I was brainstorming about a unique idea, but we like the way the words Testicle Festival poetically roll off the tongue.
Bullish entrepreneur Rod Lincoln says his festival has finally ballooned big time. In its first year, only a few hundred tentative testicle tasters bellied up. Now Lincoln claims more than 15,000 people from around the world come to taste these treats. Olé! In fact, more than 5,600 pounds of deep-fried sliced Montana tender groin will be consumed here, and that's no bull.
In the days of the Old West, the cowboys and the Native American Indians were noted for not wasting any part of the animal. They saved that special oyster and enjoyed them.
But exactly how did today's consumers get roped into such a nutty affair?
I first heard about the Testicle Festival in the Time magazine, and I thought it was disgusting, but I wanted to try it anyways.
We love them. They're so good.
I love them. I've eaten them all my life. Sooner or later, everybody has to try nuts. You take some of our special hot sauce, dip a little on there, take a little bite. Good.
Of course, if you can't stomach chomping on these critter fritters, just thank heaven you're not a real cowboy.
The real men eat them raw. I'm not eating them raw and warm. I'm eating them deep fried, tenderized. I wouldn't like to live off them, I don't think. But for a thrill, I've had half a dozen here this weekend.
After chowing down on down-home cowboy caviar and some brewskis, everybody just lets it all hang out.
They've been known to make you kind of frisky if you eat some of these.
Frisky is not all some men feel when they measure up to this sizable delicacy.
As a man, do I feel intimidated by the size of them? Well, look at the size of them.
Just about now, you're probably wondering just how these thingies get prepared and what's the best way to eat them. First, the most sensitive meat of full-grown bulls is sliced into thin strips, then marinated in beer, quadruple dipped in batter, and finally deep-fried.
You don't have to ask where's the beef. It's right here in your hand.
Well, we like to call them Montana tenderloin. Some people call them cowboy caviar, critter fritters.
Whatever the moniker, frying these sliced, snacks may make them easier to swallow, but what do they really taste like?
Tastes like chicken.
It's a little bit of a delicacy, actually. They're a little bit like shrimp, chicken.
Doesn't taste like chicken, doesn't taste like pork. It tastes like tough, lean beef, period.
I think they taste like balls.
I didn't want to get the visual image, but it was okay.
Well, even though folks can't seem to reach a consensus on the flavor of these morsels, the co-chairman of the festivities claims any time is the right time for chewing a mouthful.
There's nothing better at 8:15 in the morning to go into the restaurant and get yourself a shot of Cuervo Gold, a Rainier beer, and some nuts and eggs. It's the breakfast of Montana champions.
The crowd couldn't be more diverse, having only one thing in common, a taste for the wild.
I think it's a festival of brotherhood that reaches all ages and age groups. You see young and old here, you see stockbrokers, you see bikers, you see cowboys, miners, and wild horse riders.
This year is my first year, and I'm thrilled to death that I got here.
It's unbelievable. I tell you, the Harleys that they got down here, the people that you meet, the party, everything is just, it's great.
Next time you have a craving for something truly tasty, saddle up and head to the Testicle Festival.
These are good. I like balls.
Come to the Testy Fest and have a ball!
Coming up, forget oysters on the half shell. Unborn duck in their shell is all the rage in the Philippines. Later at Overlander's Steakhouse in Alice Springs, Australia, order up a nice juicy camel leg. Or how about a crocodile steak? Plus, in Gilroy, California, bad breath is a breath of fresh air at a festival for garlic lovers.
Listen, everybody in Gilroy has garlic breath. You can't miss it.
All coming up next when World's Freakiest Foods returns. In the novel From Russia with Love, James Bond almost dies from being poisoned by a freaky food. Which food was it? We're back with more of World's Freakiest Foods. In the novel From Russia with Love, James Bond almost dies from being poisoned by a freaky food. Which food was it? The answer? Fugu, a poisonous blowfish that's a delicacy in Japan. Sautéed snake, lacerated lizard, and a handful of crispy fried crickets. Filipino cuisine is full of foods that could make some foreigners faint. But nothing on the menu comes close to the culinary creation known as balut. A truly unique bounty that's half egg, half duck, and all Filipino. On the eastern rim of Manila, the bustling Filipino capital, is a little neighborhood known as Pateros. The busy street markets of Pateros offer everything from basketball-sized coconuts to tons of fresh fish, plus the blocks of ice to keep it all cool. But the best seller day after day is balut. Simply put, balut is a hard-boiled egg that contains a fully formed duck fetus. It's as common on the streets of Pateros as hot dogs are on the sidewalks of New York. Sold while still warm from boiling, one tiny balut includes a whole range of strange, salty, almost fishy flavors, tasted separately as one enjoys each part of the egg.
When I was growing up, the balut was considered the ultimate complete meal. Because when you open it at the top, you can sip the juice, and that's the soup. And then you have the egg yolk, and then you have the chick. And it's full of protein and calcium. So, and then the egg yolk is where you have a little bit more of the fat, you know, and so it's complete.
Pateros is the unofficial balut capital of the Philippines. Even its name comes from the Spanish word for duck, patos. Here, on almost every street, signs point the way to balutons, homespun hatcheries that produce millions upon millions of balut eggs each year. A good-sized baluton can churn out about 40,000 ready-to-eat balut eggs every week using methods developed hundreds of years ago. Each of these baskets holds some 500 eggs in various stages of development. Pele, a mixture of wild rice husks, works like an insulator, keeping the eggs gestating at about 100 degrees. The Balut's assisted incubation period lasts for about 3 weeks. With the help of a crude light box, workers check the progress of the eggs periodically. 6 days after the eggs arrive, it's time for the first check. A trained eye can tell in a flash what's happening inside an egg just from the kind of glow it emits. An even glow means the egg is unfertilized. No chick, no balut. So these are sold off as regular eggs. But when a solid mass floats to the top as the egg is rotated, it's a sign that an embryo is forming. A small mass of veins in the yolk confirms a chick was developing. During week 2, the dark mass grows even larger. Some people actually prefer to eat balut eggs at these earlier stages, 12 to 14 days old, when the chick is still a quivering mass, devoid of feathers and bones. For most, balut reaches perfection at 18 days. Under the light at this stage, the egg looks completely solid, and the chick inside is more or less fully formed. These mature eggs are then boiled and packed for immediate sale.
Balut. Arrange the banda rito, balut. Ano ka po? Anyway.
While there is no definitive history of balut, most food experts credit the Chinese.
I am very sure that the balut came from the Chinese. That's a Chinese influence because you find balut, or the fertilized duck egg, all over Southeast Asia where there are Chinese communities.
While the roots of balut are tied to the Chinese, in some parts of the Philippines, this traditional dish is getting a gourmet update thanks to the spices of Spain. Spanish missionaries came to the Philippines back in 1565, and with them came their cooking techniques, which are still used by the country's finest chefs. At the Fisherman's Grill, a restaurant 80 miles north of Pateros in the province known as Pampanga, the chef has created balut adobo, mixing Spanish and Chinese techniques for a dish that's solely Filipino.
Oh, yummy.
The medley of spices used in adobo cooking were introduced by the Spanish, but the technique was perfected in the Philippines.
Vinegar, garlic, soy, and then some people put a little bit of chilies and bay leaves. But the combination of the sour and the salt, and plus the garlic, and it's a balance of that. You know, they fight, and then you have to get harmony for both of those tastes.
This harmony of a meal, introduced by the Chinese, influenced by the Spanish, and adapted and adored by the Filipinos, is a delicious testament to multicultural cuisine. The cultural combo meal may never be one of the Philippines' big exports. But that's okay with the Filipinos, because it just means more for them. Coming up, don't ask where's the beef in Australia. It could be just about anything from camel to emu to kangaroo.
The secret way to cook kangaroo is medium rare.
Later, it's garlic galore at Gilroy, California's Garlic Festival, where garlic lovers gather for a pungent, freaky food festival. All up next when World's Freakiest Foods returns. We're back with more of World's Freakiest Foods. The indigenous animals of Central Australia. Kangaroos, crocodiles, emus, and camels. So what do these critters have in common? They're all on the menu. Here at the Overlander Steakhouse in Outback, Australia.
Cheers.
Yes, in bush country, folks order up a steak and never assume it's beef. That's because Aussie meat includes everything from crocs to camels, not just cows. So saddle up for a down-under slice of life. A lasting impression is guaranteed. Here in Alice Springs, Australia. Alice Springs, located at the base of the McDonnell Range, is often referred to as the capital of the Outback. Inhabited by Aborigine for more than 20,000 years, the dry, arid terrain of Central Australia was largely unexplored until the mid-1800s. Then, along came the Overlanders, Australia's version of the American cowboy. Today, local culture pays homage to the early pioneers in all sorts of ways. And one of the most popular ways is Overlander's Steakhouse, where down-under, down-home cooking and Aussie cowboy ballads give life to a style of entertainment found only in the Outback.
The restaurant was purpose-built in 1970 as a themed restaurant and with the sort of ambience of a bush homestead, if you like.
Good evening, welcome to the Steakhouse.
Every year, 200,000 visitors indulge themselves at this Aussie establishment where every patron gets a tabletop flag in honor of their native country. At first glance, the menu looks pretty normal. But guess again. Ordering steak here means deciding from anything between kangaroo to crocodile, all indigenous meats. So take your pick. The Drover's Blowout is a sumptuous cattle-sized feast of steak, crocodile, emu, camel, kangaroo, and barramundi. It is, quite simply, the ultimate Aussie dining experience.
All of the tourists hear about it and they just have to come here and try it.
Need some help deciding? Try the emu, a large flightless desert bird that's actually quite good for you.
The emu meat is very much sort of a darker meat compared to turkey, but emu meat's lovely, very, very tasty, a little bit on the gamey side.
Next up on the menu, crocodile, which tastes like a cross between chicken and fish.
Crocodile's a really interesting one. People sort of creep up on crocodile meat, but it's pretty bland.
Or how about farm-raised kangaroo?
The secret way to cook kangaroo is medium rare. It keeps all its juices, its flavour, the colour. It's just fantastic.
Large parties like to chow down on a whole leg of camel, which tastes like roasted lamb.
This camel leg here is going to feed at least 100 people. It's juicy, it's nice, and you'll never find another piece of camel leg in Australia as good as this. Wow, this just sort of takes my breath away, you know. It's been in here for 10 hours. It's been on a medium heat. Like, as you can see, it's not burnt on the outside. It's cooked all the way through. Like, here's the bone coming through here. It's juicy. Like, if I squeeze it, if I squeeze it here, the juice will start coming out. We've been basting it as we've been going. I don't know anywhere else in Australia that actually does this. We cook about 4 or 5 of these a month. People love it, eh? They really do.
To add to the Outback dining atmosphere, cattle drovers' gear adorns the walls. There's saddles to steers and other outrageous Australian artwork. Local ranchers who often bring along their branding irons are more than welcome to leave their mark on the walls.
Being an ex-bushy, I think is probably unique in the paraphernalia that's around the room, and it just gives you the atmosphere that you're right in the middle of Australia, and that's what it's all about. It's in the middle of Australia and it's a steakhouse.
And no dining experience would be complete without some entertainment, Outback style. From songs about gum trees to the unique Australian musical instrument, the wobble boards.
Let's wobble.
Which make an odd racket some call music. The unusual Outback entertainment is usually outrageous.
On the nights when people go a little bit crazy, at the end of the night, we hold a session of branding.
From wallets to stuffed wallabies, the staff is happy to leave their mark wherever you choose. From its home-style cooking to its fiery hearth, from earthy ballads to branding irons, the Overlander Steakhouse is guaranteed to leave a lasting impression of life in the bush, on your palate, and sometimes on your pants. Coming up, a funky festival for garlic lovers. Next on World's Freakiest Foods. In Asia, what food is blamed for helping drive the tiger to the brink of extinction? We're back with more of World's Freakiest Foods. In Asia, what food is blamed for helping drive the tiger to the brink of extinction? The answer? Tiger penis soup, believed to be an aphrodisiac. Only those with the most discerning taste can fully appreciate one of America's premier food festivals. And while the cuisine is outstanding, it is one single ingredient, pungent and powerful, that keeps connoisseurs coming back year after year. Garlic lovers unite.
Go garlic! All right.
You like garlic? Garlic's good.
Here in Gilroy, California, garlic capital of the world, and the place where garlic breath is beautiful.
Oh, garlicky.
Listen, everybody in Gilroy has garlic breath. You can't miss it.
Of course we have garlic breath.
Garlic, also known as the stinking rose, is the reason these folks make an annual pilgrimage to this California town.
I'm Mr. Garlic. I'm the unofficial ambassador for the Garlic Festival. This is a very bulbous costume that I wear around and just kind of meet and greet people, and we have a great time.
For 22 years, Gilroy has been host to the world's greatest garlic festival. And over the next 3 days, 120,000 garlic lovers will consume 2 tons of garlic, or about 7 million cloves. All in celebration of the stinking rose.
I do love garlic. I do, and that's why we're here, to enjoy garlic.
In Gilroy, it's the law. You have to eat garlic.
Gilroy lies 30 miles south of San Jose, at the southernmost tip of Silicon Valley. A fertile agricultural region, it's perfect for growing garlic. The Christopher Ranch in Gilroy is one of the top producers of fresh garlic in the country.
In 1955, we bought the property here in Gilroy, and if you have property in Gilroy and you're a farmer, the thing to do in those days was to grow some garlic.
Today, the Christopher Ranch produces 75 million pounds of garlic a year, or about 1.5 million pounds a week.
People who go to the Garlic Festival are in a good mood because they eat garlic. When you talk about garlic, they have a smile on their face, just like yours.
Welcome to the 23rd annual Gilroy Garlic Festival.
At this festival, everywhere you go, everything you see, everything you eat, it's garlic.
They're good.
And sometimes you find garlic where you least expect it, like ice cream.
I can't come all the way to the Garlic Festival and say I didn't at least try the garlic ice cream. At first, it just tastes like delicious vanilla ice cream.
And then it tastes garlicky.
Excellent.
Here, even the chocolate is garlic.
This is a garlic peanut butter cup. Definitely garlic in there. It's good.
In the wine tent, folks toast the festival sipping garlic wine.
That's good.
As far as I know, we're the only people who make garlic wine.
They even dish out garlic baby food.
Yeah, it's green beans and garlic. What do you think of that?
She loves it.
Young or old, everybody's gung-ho about garlic.
It's just some good stuff.
At the heart of the festival stands the world-famous Gourmet Alley. Here, 5 pyro chefs and 4,000 volunteers turn this park into the world's largest restaurant. How do they do it? With 2 tons of fresh Gilroy garlic that flavor thousands of loaves of their world-famous garlic bread, 20,000 pounds of beef, 8,000 pounds of pasta and 8,000 pounds of calamari. 74-year-old Val Felice is the master chef of Gourmet Alley.
That calamari it has love in it, hasn't it? It's beautiful. We've got 6 pans going here. We never shut them off. We've got the people that love it. We cook it, they eat it.
Gourmet Alley isn't the only area cooking up a storm. Across the park, the Great Garlic Cook-Off is about to begin. It is one of the best-known cooking contests in the nation. 8 finalists get busy prepping their own garlic-enhanced cuisine. All contestants are amateurs, and they must use at least 6 cloves of garlic in their dish. They have just 2 hours from start to finish, and a panel of expert judges will decide this year's winning garlic recipe. First prize includes a garlic crown and $1,000. In this corner, 1998 winner, Diane Sparrow of Iowa, hopes to overtake the competition with Asian chicken stacks topped with wasabi cream. But she's worried.
Oh, I don't know. I think it all looks like pretty big competition this year. It looks like great recipes.
Sue Vogelsanger from Rockland, California plans to knock off her rivals with something called Garlito Porquito.
It has 40 cloves of garlic in it. And anyway, it's pork tenderloin, basically.
James Kelly from Glendale, California pins his hopes on salmon Wellington.
Well, when I came up here, I thought it would be absolutely top. And then I read the other recipes, and I think there's a lot of tough competition. And I don't know. You know, you never know.
The town of Gilroy has gained worldwide fame for its amazing garlic festival.
I think the Gilroy Garlic Festival has clearly put Gilroy on the map. Gilroy, California, who ever heard of it before garlic?
This is my 8th year here at the Gilroy Garlic Festival. I cannot pass up this festival if you paid me money. I've got enough garlic in this bag for the whole year.
The average American eats 3.2 pounds of garlic every year. Health officials claim garlic helps prevent everything from heart disease to cancer. Others say garlic's also an aphrodisiac.
Garlic is the root of all evil, and if you eat a lot of it, you'll never need Viagra.
Some even believe it's a fountain of youth.
Garlic is great for wrinkles. So it is good for your health.
Back at the Great Garlic Cook-Off, judges are chewing over their decision. The time has come to announce the winner of the 2001 Garlic Cook-Off. And the winner is...
We'll present the crown to Adam Sanchez.
Local Gilroy resident Adam Sanchez and his recipe for garlic meunier duckbot stickers takes the grand prize.
Feels great. Winning the Gilroy Garlic Festival Cook-Off. It's the first year I've ever entered any cooking contest at all, and so it's a huge surprise to come in first.
From the chefs on Gourmet Alley, to the contestants in the Garlic Cook-Off, to the countless garlic lovers who flock to Gilroy, this freaky food festival is truly a breath of fresh air. So there you have it. We traveled to Australia for a barbecue outback style, and to America's Wild West, where we feasted on Rocky Mountain oysters. In the Philippines, we sampled the national snack and tasted rat in Michigan. From worms to chocolate-covered crickets to garlic like you've never tasted it before, we traveled the world to bring you these odd eats and tasty treats. And all we have left to say is, bon appetit.